Recording is in progress. That girl is infamous and famous from Zoom. Saying that sentence. Welcome to Gary the Expert and this podcast, Bulletproof Depression Support. In this episode, I'm going to give you a great analogy. Well, great is subjective, and Alexander, it's a great day. I don't know. It is a great day here in Ireland. Sunny day. Maybe it's a cloudy, rainy, dark day where you are, but I can tell you there is a blue sky behind that uh, facade or that reality, if you want to call it reality. There is a blue sky there, unless it's nighttime. But you know what they say at nighttime, the darkest hour is before dawn, and they always say daytime always follows nighttime. So there's a couple of analogies there initially starting off this episode that are very much around if you're having a bad day. If you're having a bad day, there's many examples, light at the end of the tunnel, which isn't relevant to a day when I say great day. But I'm going to give you an analogy today. And in this analogy, it's pretty simple. I like to use this analogy for some clients, and I'm going to go on this new venture, new journey, new session of, I don't think, I think the marketplace needs it. I think the marketplace wants it. And I'm going to happily go through what does the marketplace want? It wants metaphors. It wants analogies. What's the difference between a metaphor and an analogy? My understanding is a metaphor is when I say something, but I actually mean something else. An analogy is when I have a parallel to something. An analogy, I say, okay, I'm going to use X, and X is related to Y. So a client struggles with Y, but they can't see their problems with Y. So I say X, and they go, oh, that makes sense. They link together, right? So I think that is the difference between an analogy and a metaphor. And I like that rationale. Today, I'm going to give you a metaphor. And the metaphor is, I'm going to give you two metaphors, but they're related to the same thing. And it's around creating a new habit. We all know we need to create new habits. We all know that we have some bad habits, and this is fine. In order to create a new habit, we can say this is like an empty canvas of snow. Snow is just falling, and you're in the middle of somewhere that you haven't been before. Now, creating a new habit is like taking a journey from point A to point B, wherever that is, across a field. You're in one tree line, and across the field is another tree line, and you want to get to the other tree line because maybe there's no snow over there. So you walk across this open field. You take one step at a time. And by the time you get over to the other side, it's almost nearly snowed over your tracks. And then you say, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I left my knife, my cutting knife, my walkboard, my child, my dog, my food on the other side of the back of the other tree line. So you walk back across. And then it gets a little bit more deep. Your foot path, your foot stamps, foot marks are left a little bit deeper this time. You're following your same footpath because you don't want to get lost. And then you go back across again because that's where you wanted to go initially. And as you look back, the path is actually sown right in front of you. You can see it. It's a beautiful laid path right in front of you. And you're like, I'm going to start running sprints to get my exercise. I'm going to go from one side to the other side. And then this whole path is clear. And we know examples of this apart from snow. You ever see like an L shape like pathway or walkway where people just put across from one side of the L to the other side. And then like the dirt is just there's no grass. It's just completely dirt because people have walked that path so many times. We could also say this analogy, and I was going to give you the other example of this, the other metaphor, should I say, is that creating a new habit is like going through a jungle. And as you go through a jungle one step at a time, each time you go through with your machete, you're cutting and shaping and you have a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles. But as you start to cut down this path and you have to go left and you have to meander right, and you have to sometimes go back a little bit to go forward. And this path is getting, clearer. It's getting easier. And you're developing your skill set, your habit, whatever that is. Eventually you get to a place where this path is so worn, it's just become second nature for you to take this path, and there's no need for you to take a different path because it's your habit. It's very simple. Creating a new habit is, apart from metaphors and analogies and stepping those aside, creating a new habit can be very rewarding, very helpful if you have a good mindset to do it. It's good in theory to have, I can do it mindset. That's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to believe you can do it. But then there's a difference of I can to I am doing it. And that is a mindset shift. That's a mindset step. I'm not saying it's a drastic step. I'm not saying it's a crazy step. I'm not saying you can't do the step. I'm saying there is a step. There has to be a step. There is clearly a differentiator between I can and I am. So in order for you to create this new habit, first of all, you have to define what the habit is clearly. Secondly, you're gonna have to see what you might actually need to do it. Let's say you have for example, if you want to create a habit of checking something like on your business, or you want to check something in your life or your finances, or your relationship, you have to maybe get a certain software in, or you have to like Pomodoro technique if you want to do studying, right? You have to find something to where you might need extra things. So that's step 2. Step 3 would then be to implement and try the habit. Would be to test it, see if you're actually starting to do it. Step 4, I would say, is analyze what challenges are coming up as you're doing it, because we naturally want to go back to the old safe land. Right? Step 5 would be to how can you make it more rewarding, more pleasurable, more enjoyable. And as it's more enjoyable, more rewarding, you're really going to sow a lot of seeds of making this a habit, a habitual trait of yours. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to go through a vast amount of analogies, metaphors in the upcoming days and weeks. So stay tuned. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. My name is Gary the Expert. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for being here. Leave a rating, a good karma out there. Of course, we want good karma. Leave a good rating. I hope you have a fantastic day, like I mentioned, and I will see you in the next episode.